as Nia coming in, but will take the hit. Eruption on the generator as well. Eruption and Call of Ride. Nia does take a hit through the wall. So I don't know. Oh, and the dissolution value. These survivors. Deliverance from Claudette. Sprint bursting to the heart.
It's the same with these masks in the one event. She didn't get a mask either.
No.
Michael,
The ground.
Yeah, oh, that was live. Look at this thing.
They're trying.
Pokey, nerf Nancy, man.
She's gonna get hacked, maybe.
Oh my god, she might just get hacked potentially. I think she does. Holy cow. I cannot believe.
They do get the spirit reset and they get the down.
yes, they will get the survivors leaving the trial, and there's going to be the teleport with the end. She's right here. Nia needs to go.
All right, everyone, welcome back to Champions of the Fog. I'm your host, Little Rugar, and joining me today is none other than Cup of Jojo. We are back for a round 4 game that got rescheduled. This is Cynic versus Eternal, and y'all, let me tell you, this has significant playoff implications, you might say. And Jojo, what you know about the Blight?
I am so excited for this match. Blight is probably one of my favorite killers to go against and to also play. I'm not very good at him in the sense of playing him, but going against him, being able and trying my best to always go against and kind of try to be skinnier around curves is probably my favorite thing to do when going against a Blight.
Absolutely. Looks like Blight might have lost track of our survivor here as they seem to be on somebody else. Looks like they're on the Rebecca here, as we did see Nancy trying to take aggro for Rebecca. However, Rebecca got to go into the base here trying to avoid, and yeah, unfortunately is going to go down here. Oh, with the Unbreakable. They might be the Deli player. They're trying to keep them alive, but that's going to be first up coming in for the Rebecca here. Worth noting is, in addition to possibly one of the most important games of this season, we're also getting to see some of the best Blight players the game has to offer. We have V1 currently playing Blight right now, but I imagine Cynic also having their own Blight main is going to, oh wait, no, this is Pedro playing V1. I'm sorry, I saw V1 on the, I see V1 at the top there. We're currently in chase with V1, and Pedro is currently playing the killer right now. Also, noticing a dying light at the bottom of the screen here. So this killer, I think this might be the first time I'm seeing dying light on Blight.
I mean, hey, you know, sometimes running a dying light does come into your advantage. A lot of the times we do see him, though, staying around the hook. So how much dying light value are we actually going to see here if they do stay around hook and not get other hooks in, if I believe that's how the perk works?
Yeah, so we've seen this before. Nurse was the first one that started picking up dying light to any significant degree, and it also was noting the deja vu giving them 1% bonus speed. You're right. Second stage being secure, but survivors banging out the gens, which is normally the thing. 3% is not great, but usually if you can get the 6 or 9%, that's where it starts to add up. And even if you only got it for a little bit, those numbers do add up. And to be fair, we also do balance Blight and Nurse pretty heavily in this regard. So there's honestly not a ton of perks that Blight can even bring. So dying light just being the best choice over Thanatophobia here.
That is true.
They're gonna let her die.
We do see Rebecca actually going into second phase. I do believe they're just gonna let this Rebecca die. It is a really good position for the Blight, going ahead and allowing this survivor to go back to the campfire via the entity, unless we do see them going in to get a last second save. Unfortunately, though, it looks like they are all on generators. And I mean, if they continue to play this well, what we can see is once they do get those 3 gens popped, we do have a, do we have a 3 gen down on this side, or are they allowing for a good separation here. We do have a little bit of a 3-gen, but not much of one, as that was the 4-gen that was on this side of the map. So good play by the survivors here. We do see this Nancy being so skinny and just wiggling her way away from the Blight here.
That might be some of the best Z-Wall Blight play I have ever seen coming in from the Nancy. He's doing the Lord's work here. We do see Brutal Strength as that pallet was busted a little bit quickly, and that will be the down on Nancy. However, we did see those 3 gens pop. The gens are kind of split. We got one kind of in the middle, one on Shaq's side from Deja Vu. So I think the gens are relatively split, all things considered, but Blight immediately heading back here as they suspect things. Worth noting, they did hook the Survivor that's the obsession, so no more, like, it doesn't give you an extra dying light stack here, and survivors have a little bit of time to reset. I imagine we're going to see this game kind of crawl to a grind as this killer's going to try and, see if they can keep this down. It looks like the Shaq gen was the one that Nia was working on here. They do get the unhook, and that is, telltale side of Pop goes the Weasel through that window.
And how much of a regression is Pop? Is that 20 or 25%?
30% of the current
30%.
progress.
Sheesh.
So if you've got 50% on that jet, it's only going to do 15% overall.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, still a really strong perk. And again, this is all due to the fact that Blight is, again, we heavily balance the S tier killers. So Nurse, Blight, etc. They don't have pain res because, dear goodness, imagine trying to do 6 gens against the killers like this.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
it would be like, it would be worse than any pump match that I've ever played with, being able to see that over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But hey, we do have Pop, we do have Dying Light here on this Blight. So this Blight really, and the great thing about Blight is being able to have such a great movement speed to be able to patrol rather well. So we do see these survivors again kind of just taking their time here, trying to see if they can get a sneaky gen off here. But again, like I said, Blight has such an amazing movement speed to be able to patrol gens and kind of keep it in his favor.
Absolutely. And yeah, Blight looking around but not seeing the survivor. Worth though, they're also putting the Deja Vu survivor on this generator as well, so it is getting cranked as fast as possible. We do see both the other survivors, however, in chase. Adam taking a hit there, getting some distance with Overcome Lucky Break. However, gonna be running right back. And imagine what's going to happen is we'll see the survivors reset over here, and they're gonna let their Deja Vu survivor go over. And as soon as they see the survivor run, or the killer running back, they're gonna call them out and be like, "Hey, get out of dodge!" And we see Nia mixing up how they are gonna be, hiding out here. One time leaving it outside Shack, sometimes leaving inside Shack, keeping the killer guessing, making sure that they do not check every single location. And I imagine it's gonna kind of crawl to a grind.
Here, man. You're playing a risky game of trying to get, or possibly getting caught in basement, because especially with Blight, if he does come down, ooh, it looks like he's coming down those stairs, and this Nia does get caught, but I don't think they're gonna make it very far, especially with the Blight being able to create such a presence inside of Shaq with his lethal rush. And do we have a second survivor actually headed to basement? We do not see the Blight taking the Nia to the basement, but instead out into the open.
It kind of makes sense. It's easier to patrol this area, also getting you closer to see where the gens might be getting progressed on. And that is going to be a second stack of Dying Light. There's the Pop Goes the Weasel coming in on the middle gen. Survivors realizing they have to reset now. However, this gen does have some decent progress as they were able to do something. Nia taking the borrowed time hit and giving Nancy a little bit of time to get away. They're going to be running into the generator though. Blight in hot pursuit. I imagine Nia might have a chance to go and heal up, maybe work on the gen. Oh, they're going to leave off.
This Blight still in pursuit of the Nancy, seeing actually if this Nia can get some, we're gonna get some maybe healing here to be able to get back onto that gen and allowing them another life stay here. But this Blight do be zooming. Unfortunately, that no collision may have costed him here with that duck from Adam, not allowing him to be able to get hit here. What a great play by Adam.
Yeah, really good job there using using the vacuum of the pallet, even trying to get as much distance to the comp corner as possible. Question is, Oh, but Nancy's not hanging around to do the gen. This will be first hook coming in for the Atom. I imagine, yeah, it looks like Nia's going to be healing instead of doing that gen, which does make sense. You're not going to be able to finish it in time, especially now that you have that third stack of Dying Light. It's going to start adding up. That's what's going to allow these this killer to maintain this pressure with 2 gens remaining is the gens are going to slowly start taking longer. I'm wondering if letting the survivor die in the basement was the best choice. It's now the 3v1 with that much slowdown is going to be so difficult.
Yeah, we do see a quick heal, a quick reset here with We Will Make It, as well as Botany coming in from the Nancy. And it looks like, I wonder if the Blight's thinking, hey, did you go back down into basement yet again? But it looks like not checking basement, but actually getting in pursuit with the Nancy, getting a nice hit off of the Nancy as well.
Indeed. We're wasting a little bit of time here. I think the Blight knows that they have some time. Yeah, break the pallet, get a resource away, go back to the shack. And that is exactly what the Blight is going to be doing, going to be disengaging here. Nia doing some work, but I imagine they're going to get the callouts in. Maybe Adam seeing something different as the survivor's not left the gen just yet, surprisingly. Oh, yeah, in the middle. Looks like they'll be checking out this gen for a little bit. Adam's going to have to get out of dodge here. Will they commit to the Atom or will they go back to Nia at Shack? Survivors are slowly working their way back, but they need to keep resetting.
That is very true. It looks like we may have the call out from the survivors not coming in soon enough, as we do see the Nia not being able to actually get off of that gen rather quickly. But a nice little dodge, a little tuck from the Nia, hopefully being able to get into a position to be able to get into a spot to get a pallet off. But unfortunately, with that rush from Blight, we do see a hit come in.
They're leaving altogether. They expect, yeah, they want to get the tag and they expect doubling up on the middle gen. I think they're correct. They do get it down on the Nancy. However, this gen is really close to finishing. I think they might finish it for the cost of letting this hook happen. Can't tell for sure. Yeah, they don't want to start a snowball, though. You can't let this snowball.
Yeah, if you let this snowball, unfortunately, you will be in just a really bad position. This Blight just respecting pallets out the wazoo, man, to be able to get that hit on the gen, to then go after the Atom. Again, the snowball is could happen very, very easily, but we go for the pickup on Nancy. This will be a second hook for Nancy here.
Yeah, worth noting is that they did dry kick the gen beforehand, so unless they touch this gen, Pop's not going to be able to work on the gen. However, Nia working on their gen as we speak. Curious how much progress. They do finish the Shack gen.
They finish the gen, so now they have such an amazing split, if I believe correctly, here to be able to hopefully, I mean, if they continue to work hard, they should be able to get at least a 2-man out here. Oh, we do see that Atom touching that gen, allowed for a pop to actually happen on that middle gen, decreasing it by 30%.
Yeah, they do manage to get the pop on the... I understand the risk here, but you did pop the middle gen, and so now the gens are split at either side at 5 and 7 on the Shack, which gives you much more time. And again, when it comes to these S tiers, we always talk about it. It's not a matter of getting survivors out. If you get survivors out, you played insanely well. It's always a matter of, can you get that 5th generator done? It's almost always 4K1 is the standard result from S tiers when played optimally, and it's just a matter of, like, can you get that 5th gen? If you can get that 5th gen done, you've done yourself really, really well. And that's what we're seeing here from the survivors. They're trying to get that 5th gen done. Now, granted, the Blight was doing a really good job by holding it to 2 gens up. If 2 gens are remaining, that's a really good job on the killers, but that is some insane progress. And yeah, that med kit's taking a lot of time to heal through that Dying Light now. I think it's at 4 stacks? 5 stacks? I don't know.
We do have a full 4 stack, as all survivors have been hooked here. I wonder if we're going to see a down quickly on this Nancy, and we do. If we do get that pickup, that actually is going to be this is death hook for them. We do have Ja as well also on a hook, so I wonder if the Blight's just going to head back, try to get the Nia out of this game. Sluggaroonies, here we come.
Well, that's the thing, is like, they don't know where the Nia is at the moment. They healed up. Nancy's going to bleed out. If Nancy bleeds out, it doesn't matter. Nancy bleeding out is not going to affect the points because they've already been hooked twice. We see the progression to death hook there for Adam. Nia represents some points, however, because you've got 3 points left in Nia on the hook. If this survivor is able to maintain a way to get out, you're going to be in a really good spot potentially. Light looking around. But they find the Nia.
They find the Nia in their cave of a locker. Check in, seeing because I believe they may have seen that Jin was in that area, so to check the lockers in the surrounding area is a smart play by them, and it is to their benefit to be able to get this hook. Let's see if we do find the Nancy on the ground to go ahead and finalize and grab some more points here. Or actually, you were saying it's the same, right?
Yeah, I was about to say if they bleed out, it's the same amount of points. So what the way it is per hook stage that a bleed out happens is 1 point. Well, the last stage is also worth 1 point. So regardless, it wouldn't matter. If she was only 1 stage in, if she has 2 stages that bleed out, then you're losing some points because that's 3 points you could get, but only 2 points you did. However, I imagine what's going to happen is we will see the survivor progress to death stage, and we will see Blight go over, kick the hatch, make sure that that's not going to happen. And maybe, if you're lucky, there's an adrenaline on Nancy, but I don't think that's going to be the case. That's the only way the survivor's getting up at this point.
Yeah, at this point, we do see a progression to death here. Nia being sent back to the campfire via the entity, and they are headed back now to see if we can find this Nancy. But again, like you were talking about, Rue, it doesn't look, the point progression will remain the same whether they bleed out or if they are hooked.
Yeah, looks like there's not going to be an adrenaline on this Nancy. As again, it is technically risky. Now, Blight did have all 5 rushes up, but if they had adrenaline, the exit gates are split. Oh, okay, they are here.
Well, hello.
They're right by the exit gate. Speaking of the devil.
Good day, Nancy.
Good attempt, and now is going to be up to Cynic's Blight to attempt a similar score here, as 4K1 is the result. And again, both sides have some incredibly cracked Blight players, but again, these are also 2 of the best survivor teams that we have, you know, in competitive, so it's anybody's game here. But now it's going to be Cynic's turn to crack out their own blade against the Eternal Survivor team. And yeah, the first survivor, they tried to take the hit, but it was a little bit too much of a give and tell, and that is the Deliverance player that got outed first. All right, everyone, welcome back to trial number 2. Cynic is now piloting their own Blight, and Eternal is going to have to try and get 5 gens done, or 4 gens and maybe some shady escape shenanigans. But regardless, going to be a trial nonetheless. Already hear the Blight rushing around. Adam trying desperately to blend in with his corrupt intervention. Honestly, it could work. That coat is so dark.
That is very true, and I hope we don't see the same thing happen like we did in the last trial, where they do get stuck at the basement, and then we see a survivor just camped until death at the basement. But it looks like these survivors are playing it smart and trying their best to get away, but with that good old Blight hit, being able to hit this ace through the pallet here.
Yeah, a little bit of a focus hit maybe, but I mean, it is the Blight. Like when someone's zooming that fast at you, you have to assume you're going to take some weird hits. The collision's just insane, but that will be a second hit, and ace going down here. First hook incoming, and have to see if the survivors are able to pound out the gens in the meantime. I imagine they're not going to camp this the second stage. I think you go try and mess with survivors, maybe get a tag or 2, then come back, secure second stage, or go for the 1-for-1 or tunnel.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to be, again, such a fun match to watch yet again, as we do see some of the best Blights in this series here. And it's just consistently seeing how these survivors are going to play against this Blight, and how this Blight is going to play against the survivor. But again, what we do see, we just see the Blight immediately head back to hook, get a hit on the Renato, and here we go.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be towing for the tunnel out here on the ace. Ace dropping this pallet. Brutal Strength coming in to get him a little bit of distance here, and they are going to be able to bounce off of this truck and get the double tap here potentially. The question is this a decisive strike coming in, as we do see decisive strike Dead Hard players in this game. There is the decisive strike. They might be the Dead Hard player, which means it's going to be really difficult to get this down for free here, as Ace running around this pallet. This version coming down, and ooh, we do see those auras. That's going to be a snapshot aura. That is going to be Grand Court, but they're chasing their obsession.
They are chasing their obsession here, so I wonder what's going through V1's head.
Not sure, but they were waiting for a second there, so they rushed past because they were expecting a dead hard, and yeah, it looks like they did actually use dead hard there. We see the exhaustions had its effect, so they did wait it out properly. So one gen down, second hook incoming, and they did reset the Renato who got the hit. I imagine Deli is in pocket though, so that Survivor's probably not going to be chased for a hot minute as second stage is secured. Looks like they're heading right over to where Survivor is, but they're rushing away. I don't know if they want to commit to it or not. Wow, that gen's almost done. Did they not hear it?
I guess they did not. So we do. Is that a break within the 3-gen that is super common on this map?
That's a very good possibility. We see 2 gens on the other side with Deja Vu. Might be. I don't see an R on this side, so there is probably still something of a 3-gen on the other side of the map at Shack. But I think they just want to secure this kill here in the next 60 seconds. I imagine we'll see 1.5 gens popping off here. Second 50%. Looks like you're in chase with Renato briefly. I don't know if they commit to this. Yeah, you don't commit to the Survivor with it. That's obviously the pocket deli here. However, they do have Lithe, that looks like. I think we saw the notification for Lithe there instead, so they don't?
Maybe, but I mean, if you look here, I mean, this side of the map that Renato is just on was made into a dead zone fairly early in this map. So to get caught over there, again, is such a great benefit to the Blight. We do have the Blight here going ahead and starting into the middle area. We do, let's see if he is going to circle around. That Survivor is sent back to the campfire via the entity. As we do see that ace and gun out of this trial.
Yeah, second and third gens following. We see a Survivor at the Shack working on gens, so the 3 gens definitely split here. First hook incoming for Renato. So the Survivors are 1 gen away from securing the tie condition. Survivor is hooked, but I imagine if that is the deli player, looks like they're going to be chasing Claudette off this generator back of Shack. And now the question is, yeah, there's the deliverance from the Renato, so they are going to be able to reset a lot of the pressure here.
They will be able to do that. Let's hope that I was gonna say, let's hope that the Claudette can stay and chase here for a little bit, but the Blight said, nah, I'm gonna go ahead and head back to hook, see if I can get another quick tunnel out here.
That does seem to be the case. Looking around, looks like a unfortunate 7% there as they left the generator and you're gonna lose 10%. Looks like they're looking in the back here. I think they have an idea about where the Survivor is, and we do know that Decisive's no longer in play. Here comes the rush. Where are they going to bounce? Bouncing inside the tile, getting the down. That's going to be second hook incoming very shortly. We saw that the Survivor wasn't able to finish that generator at Shack yet. I think that might have even been a pop goes weasel potentially. That's really the only regression Blight is allowed here.
Oh man, and just the way in which this Blight is applying a lot of pressure, but what we do see here is we do see, I believe this is Claudette that is on the Shack gen. And just using that Deja Vu to power through this gen. I bet the Survivors are just trying their best to try and commit to these gens to try and get a little extra point here in regards to trying to get more points and get those generators knocked out.
Yeah, so that is going to be the 4K1 secured at the very least here for the Survivor Squad as they did finish the 4th gen. So even if they all die now, the tie condition has been met for set number 1, but a single gen more is going to be enough. Also worth noting, for anyone who might have been... Oh, no, Killerblind, though. I mean, bumping up, they will get the hit. For anyone curious about what was happening there a second ago, that's the firecrackers are being dropped and picked up again. So that is a tech that is used to avoid... Oh, good job from the Atom there blocking, but that's still going to result in a hit most likely. No, they passed really well. So what happens there is when you pick the item up and drop it again, you don't get crows. It counts as an action. So that is a way to stand in place and permanently never get crows as a survivor. That's what was happening there. They wanted to be able to sit there and not get crows, let the killer know where they were, so that if the killer, for whatever reason, left to go stop Coletta from finishing the gen, they would be able to get the unhook. Oh my goodness. This kill is so close.
It really, really is. And I think we were talking earlier in regards to, wait, what's going on with Raincore? I think being able to use that on Blight for some information, especially when a gen is done, to be able to see where the survivors are.
Indeed.
Which is a really smart play.
Absolutely. It looks like she has Lucky Break overcome, but it's not going to be enough as she takes the hit through the pallet. And unless there is some really crazy endgame shenanigans here, that will be the 4K1, which will tie set number 1. And honestly, with the 2 best Blights arguably in the game, with honestly some of the best Survivor teams have to offer, a tied result for set 1. As it is said in chess, a draw is a game played optimally. And I think that's what we've seen here in set number 1. Just this Blight game on both sides was played so optimally, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and we might even see some more chess coming in to these next trials, as we will be seeing a Skull Merchant here in these next trials as well.
I believe, in fact, yeah, set number 2, we will have a Skull Merchant in Trial 4, so that'll be coming up here very shortly. Worth noting, this Adam has about 2 and maybe a quarter minutes left on their bleed out timer, and it is worth noting that will lose the set. That is 3 points you will lose as the killer if the survivor bleeds out.
Oh man, so I hope that
pressure's on.
Adam can hide well, because that will be such an amazing benefit to this team, so that the tie will not happen.
Absolutely, that is the game you play when you slug out for the 4K here. Is that lead outs do not award full points. It's only 1 point per slot. And so, yeah, coming back to this, making sure that it's not a hatch play doesn't seem to be the case as Survivor has progressed to second stage. Worth noting, I think what you do here is you just, yeah, you hit all your skill checks. You don't die on second stage. You just let it happen. Let your Survivor bleed out. And yeah, we're seeing it now. This Blythe's getting a little bit concerned, not seeing or hearing anything from Adam here for a little bit now.
Yeah,
oh, no.
And it is, you can see that mouse just going around as quickly as possible, seeing if there is any sign of this Adam anywhere on this map, but it looks like Blight is just trying his best to find this Adam.
Absolutely. Worth noting, the reason we're on the kill perspective right now is because we are 90-second delay. We are making sure that no matter what, there is no case of the survivor being seen here, but we are going to be switching back, see where that Adam is as it is now past the 90-second point. There's Claudette going back to the campfire via the entity, and Adam... Wow, okay, just like that.
Just like that, you know? Okay, here we go. Again, now we do have that tie that you were talking about, Rue, with 4 survivors out of this trial, 4 gens done. We are at a tie headed into set 2.
Yep, which, oh, that is a lot closer than I was expecting that to be. I thought that one team might eke out a gen or maybe get a point here somehow, and we almost saw it there. All right, everyone, welcome back to trial number 3. Cynic's cracking out the plague on the Wrecker's Yard. And Eternal obviously gonna be firing back with some chests later on, but this kill is gonna set the stage. And I imagine you probably, knowing you're going Skill Merchant, you probably want to 4K one, which, to be fair, Plague has had a super lethal past 2 seasons, so it is entirely possible. And how do you feel about the Vami Mami?
Oh, you know, I honestly have enjoyed playing actually as Vami Mami during a couple tournaments that I've been a part of recently, and just being able to hold down at least a 3-gen, or as well as being able to just apply a lot of pressure as Vami Mami. I remember, you know, I would run Thanatophobia here, but it just the way in which Vami Mami is able to play is quite fun to watch to me, being able to infect survivors, as well as also be able to not quickly transit the map, but be able to, if you do have a good enough map knowledge, being able to hold a really decent amount of space and create a kind of a hardship for survivors.
Absolutely. Speaking of hardship, this survivor trying their best to really mess with the killer, but they will get the flashlight save. So a couple things to note here. What they're trying to do there was an aerial tech where you can light up your vomit in such a way that it will fall down in crevices, and they actually almost got it, but they were able to crouch and dodge it. Worth noting too, the add-ons in play we're seeing here is very much different from what we normally see. We see double apple. So they have 3 pools to start out with instead of the Devotee's Amulet, the Viola Medic. Yeah. So many interesting add-on choices here as we see as far back here. Also, there is no Thanatophobia. You were mentioning it earlier that you play with Thanatophobia. This killer is not taking it here and going through it. I think they're going to run out of power here. No, they barely get it, but there might be another flashlight coming in.
Oh,
Oh
there
my word,
is
this is
another
disgusting.
flashlight. Oh my gosh. Who keeps getting these flashlight saves here?
It's the A's, it looks like, and potentially going to be taking another down through the hit, but now you're against a wall. You can't get it, but they will be able to crank their first gen here as Corrupt essentially got negated by that early down, but then, you know, you didn't have a forced survivor hook. So first hook incoming here for the Plague, but one gen already down. Nobody else infected either. There's only one person infected so far.
And the 2 saves is wow. Hopefully these other 2 survivors that we're not trailing actually were cranking out those gens. It looks like we were able to get 1 gen done here. But I mean, if you got a lurker in the shadows and is able to get off those flashlight saves, it is beneficial to the survivor side of the team. But it looks like, oh, what a play that comes in for that body block. We do see no down here, but we do see a stun on the Plague. This Plague is getting their work, or getting the work put in for them by these survivors.
Yeah, really good job here. I think what the killer's trying to do here is get a snowball going. They were trying to get survivors injured early on. The survivors were very much well aware and denying that. However, A's potentially going to take a hit here. No, they managed to hold the sprint burst. 99 is going to be able to get to the next tile. However, they will be going down momentarily. There's the down on the Ace. 3 survivors injured so far. We saw them working 1 gen. I think it was Adam that was on a gen the entire time. But the other 2 survivors, Ace trying to, you know, cat and mouse the survivor that was being chased at the time and getting those flashlights, but also Ashley not really able to get the damage that they were needing to as well. And I think they weren't on a gen the whole time. So honestly, I don't know how fast we're going to see the gens here. I think maybe 1 at most. I don't know if they've got 2 coming.
Oh, I mean, man, the way that this is being played out is amazing to watch. Again, like I said, going into this trial, we're gonna see these survivors as well as the killer trying their best, putting everything that they can into these matches. We do have a gen that just popped, and it looks like another gen is close to 85%. These survivors are putting in the work against this mommy here.
They really are. And it's worth noting too is that there has been 2 Scourge hooks so far. So this is despite being total 50% regression being played out here. Looks like second stage might be incoming here shortly. We did see a survivor running in to try and get this unhooked. Worth noting, the survivor isn't fully infected, so if there's a hook trade here, I think they're gonna. Oh no, they do secure second stage, and now the killer here looking around, checking out their generators. They do see someone in the back here. No, they're gonna go drink up again.
Yeah, that is honestly really wise of them to be able to continue collecting these pools, as it allows for a ranged down and allows for a lot more pressure, because the survivors are, where is this vomit coming from? And honestly, the way in which the Plague is playing this is allowing for a lot of pressure to happen on both ends of this trial.
Absolutely, they do manage to nail the Ace. They got the hit through the hook there, checking around the corner and trying to get the survivor up, and that will be second hook. I don't see it, a side strike coming in, and yeah, the survivor being sent to the campfire back via the entity. But now the question is, which gen do you go for? You've got a pop in the hand, but where do you use it? Looks like they're going to go back to center. I think they're letting that gen go. I think they understand that that gen is being worked on, but I think they want to get some use of their power. They see the survivor is injured. They want to try and get it a down here and reset the pressure.
And what a great match just being done on both sides, trying to create pressure. Oh, we do see Bamboozle here at play from the Plague, kind of cutting off a lot of movement here. We are going to keep the Atom slugged and going. Actually, we're going to go in for the pickup.
Yeah,
here.
they just want to check the gen in the center. They want to see if the survivor was on it or not. They need to get the Scourge hook on the Atom here. I think this is their. Wait, no, this is their second hook. They don't have a. This isn't a Scourge hook, but you do get basement hook here, which is pretty savage.
Yeah, and is going to be really, really strong, so you do get a 2K here. We do see that final gen pop here. Let's see, again, like I've always said, you never know what is going to happen in these trials, as, oh man, the way in which anything can happen here. Do you think we get it down here?
I think we do. Kind of surprised that didn't hit, but that's gonna be kind of brutal. There's the unhook in the basement though. There's the down. They still have a potential snowball here, but there's no power in hand. Adrenaline on the survivor, but it's not gonna matter as they are fully infected. And now I imagine you try and stealth out the survivor. They are gonna hook the Ashley here to get the fresh points. It does make the most sense. However, those exit gates are nowhere near each other, and you don't have your power. And we know all the perks. There is no in-game package here. No ed, no way out. They cleanse in the corner, but you know you can't go get that pool.
So with the risk of having this gate so closely open, as well as the survivor there on hook, I was literally going to ask you, Rue, what do you think in this instance? Do you cleanse or not? But it looks like they made that decision for us.
Yeah, you cleanse here, you and potentially you might be able to set up, especially if those cleanses are far away, you might be able to set up some kind of crazy save there. They are going to vomit on the exit gate here, make sure that the survivor becomes infected for using it. But even still, like, I would take your fresh outs here, but they know it's going to be so close in the end. If you can get a really good score here, even if you win the set and you go to set 3, that means that the returning team has to do an incredible job on that as well. And we see them setting up for this unhook here. Is it going to happen before second stage? There's the live prep from the survivor, and they are going to be going in here for the unhook. There's the second stage secure. There's 2 more points. There's the vomiting occurring, though.
Oh,
they've been body blocking. They need to be careful.
Oh my goodness gracious. We do
That's
get
a
it
fresh
down
hook.
here.
That's a fresh hook on the Atom here.
That is going to be points galore here if we do get that pickup on here. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness
that is
gracious.
exactly what the Plague needed there. That's gonna give him 6 additional points. That going for the unhook might have messed them up. Plague, however, after being blinded this many times, is definitely scared of the survivor. But yeah, as you see that pickup, you got to take your outs now. But that is going to be 2 stages out, as opposed to, I think they were going to be able to leave with 4 stages, maybe even 5. But the big thing, denying the 6 points to the killer, denying the 3 for that first hook is huge. But now you really can't, unless there's deli. No, there's no deli. What am I talking about? No deli.
Do you think he heals up here and tries to go for the save?
I would not personally. They're thinking about something. I don't know what the play here is. You've got life potentially in play. Are you really gonna go for the save?
Oh my goodness.
They're running around the edge. They want stages.
I'm telling you.
I think they might be worried for the Skull Merchant match. I think they might be thinking maybe that Skull Merchant isn't going to be able to perform like they want. I don't know. This is interesting.
True. Oh man. I'm getting goosebumps through just sitting.
But now you
here
caught them. Now you give them the stage.
Oh my gosh. What was I thinking here?
This went from a 2-stage out to a 1-stage out.
Oh my gosh. This is, I'm telling you, Rue, like I said, they are definitely putting on a show. I'm curious as to what the thought was there. Maybe stages, or like you said, what is it like for going against the Skull Merchant? What are they thinking? I don't know.
All right, everyone, welcome back to Champions of the Fog. We have trial number 4. And as we said previously, settle in, folks. It's going to be the long haul. We got Chess Merchant, and I was going to start labeling out some things that I'm seeing, but honestly, seeing a survivor with no mithers already got me scratching my head. Cuppa Jojo, what the heck am I looking at?
You know, I think you are looking at a survivor that is deciding, hey, let's go ahead and run no mither and have some fun with this, as we are going against a Skull Merchant again. Rue, are you ready for some chess? Because it has been a minute since I've played myself, and let's see what moves are going to be made here with this Skull Merchant playing some chess.
You know, it's funny you say that. I actually do enjoy chess. Me and Poggy get to play occasionally on chess.com, but with that said, very different chess today as we see those drones already active. Nancy going to be taking a bit of a slap to the face here. No sloppy to be seen as Ray dropping Shack Paladin moving into past here. going around the long side, probably going to the corner of the map, trying to give her friends as much time as humanly possible to get some gens done. However, Skull Merchant is going to be moving pretty quickly. They do get the pallet slap to the face, as I do know some of the builds here, folks. There's going to be some wonky builds to be seen nonetheless from our survivors. Again, if the no mither wasn't already something, yeah. One gen down though, survivors have slowly started to whittle away.
I wonder where this 3-gen is and how chess is going to be played here. Looks like there is a chase going on with the with the no mither here, Renato. And it looks like we do have our Nancy also. It looks like that gen over there is actually being doubled to see if we can go ahead and get some gen progression done. But it looks like that notification is coming in strong for the Skull Merchant, having her head on over with these survivors exposed.
This will be the case. They will be getting the unhook, however, on the injured survivor from the hook. Looks like they are going to be heading back here. So it looks like that generator they're on is one of the ones the killer is targeting for their 3-gen. And as we do have Deja Vu in play for the survivors, they do know about the 3-gen that is the tightest most. As again, Deja Vu not only gives you 6% faster gen speed, but also tells you what the 3 closest generators are. So survivors are well aware of what the situation is. The question is, can they break it? Which is it's always the question against Skull Merchant. Can you break the 3-gen?
And again, that's what makes Chess Merchant so strong, is being able to hold this 3-gen and allow for the survivors to have to make decisions. Are you gonna go for the saves? Are you gonna do the gens inside of the drones? Making just the decision making a little bit more difficult on the survivor side, but also one thing I have noticed, even if you do play Chess Merchant, you do also have to be decent at chase to be able to get these downs, allowing you to have a good amount of pressure even within chase.
That's a good point, and they do end up getting the chase. And again, all the comp players are very competent. 115 killers here is first hook for Nancy coming in, second hook for the killer overall. We did notice that they did disable the drone over there by the gen, so unless Skull Merchant is being very aware, that gen on the hill should be firing soon, but oh no, they're gonna be running away from it preemptively. Oh, but it's so close. That's going to be a nasty pop goes the weasel. And survivors are well aware. We have already seen a couple of perks come out here. There is overcharge, which is not to be surprising. Second gen going on for the survivors, as they have already tapped multiple gens that the killer has kicked so far. As I think we know that this is the traditional Chess Merchant build.
Yes, and I think so too. The placement of this hook is actually really good and in favor of the Skull Merchant, being able to keep her eyes over on that gen, as well as keeping her eyes on the survivor that is hooked, allowing for there to be a decision that the survivors are going to make. What other gen are you going to go for? Are you going to keep committing to the gen that has a decent amount of progress?
That's fair enough, and we do see someone in the middle of Shack. Looks like the Skull Merchant is going to go back and push this gen again, as we did see Jake working on a little bit, but getting pushed off as they are exposed. I will say, kudos to behavior for, we did say in the AMA, they were going to be addressing Skull Merchant in the future, so folks, there is light at the end of the tunnel, but in the meantime, these survivors, they're tunnel focused on that light at the end of the tunnel, because they're like, dear goodness, can we just not already? But Skull Merchant will be chasing the Jake here towards the back. Going to be dropping the pallet, running around the side. There's the vault. There's the 50-50 again. Will they vault? Oh my goodness, the 50-50s are insane.
And just trying their best here, and we do get that down as they are exposed inside of the drone. We are pushed away a little bit here. We are seeing progress on that Shack gen, as well as that gen just getting completed. Does that break the 3-gen that the Skull Merchant was trying to hold, Rue?
I don't think so, because the Skull Merchant also has a drone over here to where the Jake was running, and so I think there's one back here at 6 that's in the dead zone potentially that they might be working on. Though they are getting plenty of fresh stages, the Skull Merchant knows they have time. Disabling this unfortunate skill check. Oh, and another one coming in. That's oppression as well. So this killer, yeah, standard build. We can call it out, folks. It is going to be Pop Goes the Weasel, Overcharge, Call of Brine, and Oppression. As this is the classical time format, if you will. Sorry, I just love picking test puns with this killer sometimes.
Oh my
They are disabling a lot of the
dude.
drones here.
I love these chess puns because honestly, it's anyone's move.
It really is immediately going back here and disabling this one as well. Actually, they're not even bothering to disable it. They're just going to break it and immediately get back on the gen. They don't care. Oh, right! If you disable it, they get it back, but if you take the arm, they can't lay it down. That's some next level tech right there. Yeah,
And
you
so
can
there's a
technically hold their
smarter
drones
way to
hostage like
play.
Victor.
Yes, so now it's instead of allowing them to be able to place drones in different places and resetting, it just disables it, and that's a really smart play from the survivors.
It absolutely is. Looks like the Stars are well aware, heading away from the Shag. Looks like A's gonna be jumping back on another generator here. Gonna be chased off of it once again by the Skull Merchant at the hill. Tail Gen has been doing a little bit of work here as it has been the receiving end of many loving kicks from our Skull Merchant player. As let's see, how far are we into the match? We were about I'd say about 10 minutes in. We've got 3 gens down, and they are about 30% of the way through the one middle. Again, I don't think the 3 gen is quite split, as this one back here is going to be kind of nasty. Jake can be pushed away from here, going to have to reset at some point as Skull Merchant takes the tag, and I imagine it's going to be running right on back to the Shack. Survivors are well, as this is being called out. This is a comms intensive match, folks.
Yes, and Rue, question for you: if the survivors are able to disable the bots or the drones, is Skull Merchant able to replace them by like going over to it and replacing it, or
no? So what happens is when you attempt to disable the drone, but you quote unquote fail, you get an armband. But because that armband's there, the Skull Merchant has 4 drones, but they don't get that drone back until that armband is gone.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, really smart play on their part. Looks like second hook will be coming in here for the Nancy. Skull Merchant looking around, but they will be able to get the central hook here. Looks like they did fail a skill check there, and this is what it's going to start grinding down to, folks, is can they finish these generators? Especially with the Survivor now on Death Hook.
Yeah, it looks like they really are pushing these different gens here inside of the 3 gen. Excuse me, before they actually head into that final gen. So it is a lot of chess going on here. Chess is also known to be intense and sometimes quiet, yet also at the same time you can't take your eyes off of it, as we are trying to see how the survivors do play against this chess merchant.
Absolutely, and looks like they are going to be going down in the back there. It looks like we'll make it on the Survivor, so they are going to get a quick heal here. Yeah, there is a gen back here, so they've got kind of a string of gens. Obviously they got about one back at 12 that Survivors aren't going to be worried about for a little bit, but we do see the Killer Instinct there on the middle gen. Will they be able to finish it in time? I don't even know the progress of the center gen.
The notifications are going crazy for the Skull Merchant. We're getting that instant unhook. It looks like they're gonna try and push back onto that gen, but it looks like we consistently have, because of that pop in favor, we just have these survivors having to cry their hearts out, sweat their hearts out in this 3 gen here.
Absolutely. Looks like they are going to be splitting pretty well. We've got Jake in the 6 here working on this generator, which is a dead zone. We have Ace working on the hill gen, and Nancy and Jake tag teaming the middle gen. We do see that gen. Looks like they might have been missed skill check. Not sure. Hard to say. Looks like they're coming back down from the hill, which means Jake does have some time to work on that gen in the back potentially. I'm sorry. Is it Jake or Renato? I can't tell.
I believe that's Jake that's in the back right now.
Yeah.
The Skull Merchant is headed back, but we do see a lot of back and forth happening here as the Skull Merchant is getting notifications down at 6 that somebody is working on that gen. They then re-hop back onto the center gen. Are they applying pressure as well over into that hill gen? Because it looks like they are trying their darndest to get one of these gens done here.
And another oppression in there as well. I think this is Death Hook potentially for Jake, which is not where you want to be, but Survivors aren't giving up. They are jamming it out anyway. We see the notification from Olive there. That is going to be Jake sent back to the campfire via the entity. Ace also working on their hill gen, but I think it's not going to be enough time. A's gonna go back to their gen, but oh, it's like 80%, which means that the survivors are able to take enough time, they might be able to finish this gen. But then it comes down to, okay, so you got the gen done, now you got the back one you have to work on. But oh, this is gonna be so close. Yeah, A's getting chased off their gen. Looks like Renato working on the one in center. There's pop applied to this one. They do get the skill check for overcharge though. Oh, this is gonna be so tough. The game is grinding out to a halt now.
With one survivor gone, that adds a lot of pressure here to these survivors. Of being able to try and get these gens done as quickly as possible. But again, you do have a decent amount of gen progression over on that 6. But I don't think any survivors are actually headed over there.
Yeah, that's the problem, is that survivors aren't really going to be interested in heading over to the 6 o'clock gen. And
or am I wrong? We actually do have somebody on the 6 o'clock gen.
Very interesting. I think that might have been the initial thing they wanted to, so that way if the survivor was left, they could deal with it. But yeah, Skull Merchant, man, they must have a chess timer going on in their head to see when these gens are going to pop. They do have split pressure, though, which is exactly what the survivors need. But again, you can apply any number of pressure with oppression coming in. Will they miss a skill check? I don't think they did, but again, these gens are going so slowly here as every single kick just regresses them so much in the end between Colubrine and Overcharge.
Yeah, and just like a regular game of chess, this does take patience to be able to pull this off well, to be able to and communication is so key amongst these survivors here as they continue to just push their hardest and trying their best to get out these gens.
Absolutely. Looks like they are going to leave the no mither player slug for a little bit. There's the kick on the gen. No failed skill check to be seen, but they are going to call out that the Skull Merchant is heading back. So the Stars are going to get off their gens as we speak to try and avoid the pressure from Skull Merchant. But that means that obviously the no mither player able to get back up. Looks like they're going to go for the pick, which means these survivors are going to try and double out this gen in the center. I think they should be able to, which means the gens will be split afterward.
Yes, and we still have one. That is only going to be a second health state. We do see that patience pay off from the survivors. The gen split, the Skull Merchant, Chess Merchant, actually 3 gen has been defeated here. Let's see what these survivors do. How many outs do we get? Do we finish that final gen? There's a lot at stake here as we go into that 3 gen being broken.
Absolutely. The end game is upon us. They're going to get this unhook here. No need to heal. I imagine they're going to go and work on their respective generators, or maybe heading back to the Nancy. Maybe Ace want to take a hit here as Nancy is going to be deathly. They are still exposed, by the way. You are exposed for a long time. Yeah, A's going to come in and be like, yeah, take me instead, which means that this survivor can work on the final gen potentially. Can Nancy last long enough a chase? They're just going to go straight for the hook on the Ace.
Wow, that honestly surprises me. There is a lot that is going on at play here. We do have enough progression here on this gen, but it looks like the Renato is leaving as the hook is near the 6 o'clock gen, or the 6th gen.
Yeah, it looks like it's a little bit in the mid, which gives her a good chance to look around. I think they're trying to take chase here and give Nancy a chance. I don't know exactly what Nancy's doing. She's coming back in and out of exposure. Looks like they're trying to get the unhook here, but with one survivor injured and the other exposed, it's kind of hard to get an unhook here. I think at this point, what the survivors need to do is just get that last generator done. Like, yeah, but they're going to be sneaking Renato back over here. There is enough time on hook. If you let Ace progress fully to death, that lets you get a gen done. And if you can get one stage out, that is a tie condition once again.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, do we have any survivors that are on gens right now? We do. Yeah. We do see. Is this the Renato? Yeah.
Renato back on the 12 o'clock gen now, as 6 o'clock is a little bit too preoccupied. It is a dead zone. You really can't afford to work on it back there because they would gladly take that choke trade. And now Skull Merchant are trying to get as many points as they can. They do see the end in sight for them, as the win condition, or at least the tie condition, is 5 gens, 1 stage out for the survivors. That is the tie condition. And now the question is after securing 2nd stage, will they come in for the unhook?
Yeah, it is coming down to the wire here. We do have the no mither player here. Does go ahead and drop that firecracker. Oh, but it looks like, oh, how are they going to play this out? We are back into our 50-50 with the Renato, creating some distance here. How is this going to happen?
It's gonna be really close. Going into the Z-Wall. No, it's not even a Z-Wall. Trying to get some distance. Looks like both survivors are on a gen somewhere. I don't know which one though, as they are both now exposed. Looks like they're on the 6 o'clock gen, as it wasn't fully regressed. I don't know. Maybe she didn't kick it. Or maybe they're just in the furthest one.
Oh, but we do have a drone out here, so they are going to start getting those notifications that this is what's being worked on. If they can commit to this gen, they will be able to. Oh my gosh! 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 And
they do finish it.
Wow.
But unfortunately for this team, it is going to be not enough, as they needed to get one stage out or a point in some way to be able to meet the tie condition, as one stage did leave in the previous match. So Eternal will be able to clutch this set by one singular point. That was way too close for comfort.
Yeah, so as we go into the final trial here with these two teams, it looks like there is, I believe 1-1, is that correct?
The first set was a tie, so
Okay.
nobody got a point there. Eternal gets a point in set 2, and so going into set 3, Eternal is going to be piloting the Plague on the Suffocation Pit, and Cynic will be playing Singularity to match it out. So the way this works now is because it was a 1-point difference. Obviously, if Eternal wins the next set, they win flat out. But if Cynic wins the next set, they have to win by at least more than 1 point. Otherwise, it's still a tie.
All right, and we are back, this time for trial number 5, set number 3, the final round of Champions of Fog Season 8, and we got Eternal battling the Plague here on the Suffocation Pit against Cynic's Survivor team. And right now, Plague out on the prowl, trying to find where these survivors might be. They, of course, bringing a corrupt intervention, and this time a little bit more traditional in the way of add-ons, as we see here a Blessed Apple, as well as the Devotee's Amulets. For those confused as to why the Plague, when having the option to bring in the green add-on, instead brings the yellow, is because it does not spawn an additional pool of devotion, where in this case the Plague kind of wants to have as few as possible to manage. And it looks like we do see Plague now in chase of that, and gets a brilliant hit right there, as honestly I was not expecting that to land, but it did end up doing so. Adam now infected. As far as other perks are concerned, we do not know any other perks in the mix as of right now. Plague does find some scratch marks here going to the back of main. However, Plague trying to mind game someone who might just not be there. We do see scratch marks here through the window. Plague does too. A bamboozle was revealed there for you keen-eared viewers. That'll help out the Plague here at the main building. Not sure the survivor knows about it yet, though. Looks like they have now found it out, and that will be the Renato infected as well. 2 survivors infected, though do want to point out, Adam, not yet fully infected, might be walking it out or have a self-aware and or urban evasion, giving them a little bit of longevity there before getting full infected on a gen. Ace now being found out as well. Looks like they might have a sprint burst. Does get them a little bit of distance and avoiding the vomit there. However, Plague still in hot pursuit. Will get this and might just be able to break them too. That there will be the first down here for the Plague, ending corrupt intervention. And looks like now we are going to see if there are any perks here. Surprisingly, no Scourge Hook Pain or Resonance normally is what we do see there, but no hook so far on the Ace. That being said, Plague can do a little bit of home remodeling here. Going to make it a bit easier for them to get around main, but also easier for the survivors to avoid a potential bamboozle here. With Plague having a corrupt purge here next to the hook, this pretty much guarantees that they are able to secure second stage here on Wispy the Ace. That being said, let's take a look and see where the other survivors are. Adam, just about 75% in on this gen, and a lucky break currently being burned by being broken. We see Nancy here making their way kinda towards the unhook. Not sure if the Plague is aware of that. Of course, Ace up on the hook, and last but not least, Renato kind of just hanging out in the middle here. We hear a tear radius, but don't see the plague that might give the Nancy the opening that they need in order to get the unhook, and looks like that's exactly what's happening. A potential bounce landing. There's the unhook. There is the hit on the Nancy. Plague wants to get both, but going to drop the chase on the Ace instead. Going to get Nancy down underneath the hook. Looks like a slug out, as we do hear the first gen popping off in the distance as well. And looks like now, second gen popping off. These survivors not going to go down without a fight, though Ace now without BT, getting a little bit mind game here. We heard them on the corner of the tower here, but making some pretty good distance with what is likely a sprint burst in hand into the middle of the map. However, Plague in hot pursuit, half their power still left in hand, and looks like Ace trying to get the stun and will get it. That's going to rob the Plague of half of their power. That is a huge boon for these survivors. It's going to make it much harder for the Plague to get these downs in quick succession. So much so that Plague actually going to disengage chase, now instead finding the Adam here in the corner. Honestly, I think they're going for the Corrupt Purge, but just found Adam by happenstance. That being said, Adam doing a good job here of ensuring to use the outskirts of the map. Not as powerful as it is against the nurse, of course, but will buy their team a little bit of time here, as Adam will get hooked here. And this here is a Scourge Hook Pain Resonance, or regressing in the most progressed gen by 25%. That being said, looks like Plague going to stick around a little bit around these gens, just take a look and see how much progress is on them. Going further into this corner, though, for some reason. Maybe the Plague knows something that we don't, but no sign of survivors otherwise. And looks like Plague will not sit by the hook with their power in hand, just going to be kind of patrolling this bottleneck here. Let's take a look and see where the survivors are. Adam hanging out. Two survivors on this gen about to pop. Do want to mention that Nancy here with the Deja Vu in hand, able to see the gens that are close together and gets a 6% increase in repair speed. Asia's hanging out, and so is Renato. Plague, though, patrolling farther and farther away from their hook. Now going to be holding the bottleneck here closer towards main. And Survivor's kind of caught in a little bit of pickle, as we are about to see, I believe, the Survivor progress to second stage, the Adam. And we see one Survivor trying to make their way over. Plague with not much of their power left, and I believe that was the last pool as well. These Survivors have not been cleansing so far. The age-old question against the Plague, to cleanse or not to cleanse? I'm curious, chat, what are your thoughts? Do you cleanse against Plague in this scenario? And if so, why? And if not, why not? I'm curious about both sides. That being said, though, Nancy making the daring play to try and make their way into Shaq's side. However, Ace getting pushed back out. Plague in hot pursuit. I mean, if you're going to go for a trade here, you need to get it a clean trade, right? You need to be there before the Plague is able to be at the hook. The only one who might be able to do so would actually be the Ace, who has that sprint burst in hand. But unless they're able to make it by the Plague, it looks like the Survivor will go to Death Hook and be sent back to Campfire via the Entity, resulting in a 3v1 scenario here with 2 gens remaining. That being said, this gen very well progressed. We do see 2 gens actually very well progressed. This here going to be a bit of a dry kick, 2.5% off that gen, including 0.3% per second thereafter. I want to say this might be the Renato back here that we're hearing coughing from being fully infected. We also see what looks to be the Nancy on the gen, absolutely fearless in the face of this Plague, as Renato going to continue to loop main here. Plague going to get interrupted by this pre-dropped pallet, and looks like, no, that's Ace. Ace with the sprint burst in hand. Plague knows it too, can't catch up to them without giving Renato a chance to jump back on this gen. Ace, though, going back to the gen and tapping it. However, Plague going to get 2.5% off that gen. You need to remind everyone, folks, that survivors really can't just gen tap anymore. You also need to make sure you get a little bit of progress, otherwise you end up losing it. But now Plague kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. You have 2 survivors here, but where's the Nancy? Nancy over here on Shaq's side with Deja Vu cranking out this gen. And yeah, Nancy kind of just has free reign to work on whatever gens they want, and Plague none the wiser, just going to kind of sit here waiting for one of these survivors to make a mistake. That being said, Plague inching closer and closer to the Gen and Ace. And looks like Plague is going to go for it now, but that was enough time for the Ace to get their sprint burst back and attempted blind as well. Ronaldo jumping back on their Gen, and I mean, you can't continue this, right? You're just going to end up in a scenario to where Nancy's going to crank out the Gen all by herself over on Shaq's side. But if you leave either Gen to chase, then you end up losing one of the Gens. And looks like Plague has had enough of this back and forth and instead will be going for the Renato. This is a huge success here by these survivors, doing a fantastic job. Plague trying to catch up to the Ace here, but the sprint burst coming in clutch once again. And looks like Plague gonna go for a little bit of a mind game here. Ace's scratch marks pretty close by. This looks like Ace will go down before they're able to make it here to the tile, but no, there's the pallet, there's the pre-drop, and there's the down on the Ace. The Plague needs to get a bit of a snowball here quickly because I fear that the Nancy might just be completing this Gen here in just a few moments. We'll take a look in just a moment, but first we'll get this hook in, and that there is a Scourge Hook Pain Resonance. Once again, regressing most progress Gen by 25%, followed by a Pop Goes the Weasel, regressing that Gen there by 30% of its current progression. That being said, let's take a look and see where Nancy is, and she is about to do it. That there is the 5th Gen, folks. Though, do you want to know, Tornado? Ooh, not going down just yet. Instead, gonna get that pallet stun and activating Smash It for a little bit of distance. It's now up to the Nancy to either escape via the exit gate or to get the unhook here. Looks like no progress on the exit gates. Instead, we're going to go for the Nancy. And that's gonna leave the Ace and the Renato primed and ready for a potential escape via these exit gates. I imagine Renato on the exit gate as we speak. Plague knows it too. We see the red light there. Haven't heard the alarm though. And it's only 2 lights in. No sign of the Renato though. And Ace kind of being held here towards the middle. We see the Ace cleanse now, able to come in for the unhook if not careful. But once again, Plague kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. You either guard the hook or you guard the exit gate. You can't do both here at the same time. Just waiting to see an opening, if any. Difference here, though, is that Nancy only has a limited time before they progress to second stage and potentially Death Hook. Plague, though, holding their power. We do see scratch marks over by main. There's the Renato trying to get past the Plague. There's the Ace. Plague trying to get to their power. They will grab their Corrupt Purge. This could potentially yield amazing results for the Plague if they're able to get the downs. Scratch marks, though, going into main. That there is... I want to say this here is the Renato, right? Yeah, looks to be the case. And looks like we are going to see the Renato in the final chase. Ace taking a body block, but he can't body block the Plague's Purge. And with them being right on top of you as well, you could potentially get the double tap on the Ace. They get the down on the Renato, the blind shot over the tile. Ace now in a world of hurt as well. This might be 2 downs. Ace taking the hit. Renato trying to crawl through. Plague's not wanting to see it. They're going to force the Nancy out of the exit gate, picking up the Renato. Ace coming in for the flashlight save, but not going to get it as the Plague has turned away. And I want to say that's going to be a 2-man out here for the survivors. But wait, hold the phone, folks. That's scratch marks heading towards the middle. Yeah, that's the Ace on the Corrupt Purge. They're wanting to get this out here on the Renato. They do not want to give up this fresh hook. Ace now in a really interesting predicament. Plague not able to go for the Purge because Ace will be able to get by and get the unhook and escape via the exit gate right behind them. Plague, no clue where this Ace is. And remember, they have sprint burst too, which means they can sneak in at a moment's notice. Nancy's still slugged down on the ground. We see the Ace. There's the sprint burst. They're going to come in for the unhook. Plague just going to go for the broken Stas effect. There's BT coming for the body block from Renato. Ace, though, wanting to give themselves up for Renato. Plague going to try and body block at the exit gate to try and get through BT. There's the down on the Renato. Ace going to pick up the Nancy. Nancy back down. Ace going to try and go for the flashlight save. Not able to get the angle, though. And Plague now going to just push the Renato further in. And also, want to know, Nancy's not down. That was either a soul guard or a dead hard. I'm not actually sure which. But either way, Nancy's still up off the ground, meaning that they do have another survivor available to go for this unhook. No sign of Nancy. They could have gone for the... No, Nancy further in. We see the scratch marks going in towards a pool of devotion. That's going to give the Plague some time to go in and get Ace out of the X gate. There's the Ace gone and dusted. Back to the campfire via the X gate. That leaves just the Nancy who has yet to cleanse. They had to first be able to get rid of their deep wound status effect. The Plague now taking a risk, moving away from the unhook. If the Nancy's actually on the other side of the map, they should be able to get the Renato, but no, she's here on the X gate. A last-ditch effort, and this is going to be the... Oh, actually, there is still one play. Hatch is still a possibility. There's the suicide on the hook. Nancy gonna be going for it, I think. But Plague just gonna be boxing her out. Not wanting to give her a single moment. And Plague trying to figure out how to ensure that Nancy doesn't get to this. Oh, Nancy with the bounce landing, I think. But the Purge coming in and downing her from afar. That they're going to be the 3K for the Plague. Expertly done here in EGC. So GG, well played to both sides. And we're going to be going to the final trial of this match with Cynic killing as the Skull Merchant here against Eternal Survivor team. Hopefully you guys are excited for this, because I know I am. This has been one hell of a close match. With that being said, we are going to go on a quick break. All right, and we are back. This time with the Singularity from Cynic killing against Eternal's Survivor team. And as we see here, of course, the good old corrupt intervention, but also the tried and true denied requisition form. On top of that, we can only imagine, and if we're able to see the killer, you would also know that it is in fact a Soma family photo, which will give the Singularity here a little bit more speed on their overclock. That being said, these fighters are doing a good job avoiding the Singularity thus far. Singularity is setting up their pods, and we see a very early EMP. Looks like they're trying to get at least 2 survivors EMP'd. But not gonna set it off. Not sure what the plan was there. I see, though, looks like they're trying to get the EMP off specifically for the Ace, so that way they would get their slipstream off of them. Singularity trying to set it back on, but Ace doing a good job evading. And looks like they will end up taking that slipstream. Ace just kind of chilling out here, though. There's the teleport. There's the overclock, but Ace getting the pre-drop in the right place. And that is a very, very quick break there, friends. Also do want to note that the Singularity did bring a good old sloppy butcher. We do see that they are underneath a pallet. I am wondering if that could potentially have a survivor going to drop it, but no, looks like survivors are on the other side of the map. And looks like this here will be the first hook, and very likely a Scourge Hook Pain Resonance, or aggressive most progressed gen by 25%. Looks like Singularity now in chase with the Jake, as we see what appears to be a survivor on the gen. Jake gonna take the hit though, but not going to continue being chased. Do want to note that they do have a lucky break in hand, about 50% on this gen here. We heard the Singularity looking through their cameras, trying to get the heal in time. They do get it, but taking the hit for it, the will make it coming in clutch, to say the least. And looks like they will be in chase with the Ace now, though, after getting healed. Jake just about finished getting healed themselves, Trying to do so through Sloppy Butcher is no small feat. And it looks like Ace trying to mind game this window here to the best of their ability. It looks like they are going to see the overclock and slipstream there. No pals to worry about, though, just windows to vault. Singularity going for the mind game, though, and will get the hit here on the Ace, I would imagine. Sure enough, there it is, as first gen for these fires getting completed. Win condition right now, folks, is a 4K at 4 gens completed for the killer. A tie, a true tie, completely for the entire match is a 4K at 0 gens remaining, or 5 gens completed. So gonna be quite the task here, though. Given the Singularity's performance, I think it is possible, especially as we see them eating through these pallets again and again and again, as Ace is looking like they are about to go down. But no, getting to the vault in time. We see a survivor coming in for the body block, will take the hit for the Ace. And Singularity just determined to get the survivor down and taking all the resources in the middle of this map with them. And looks like they are going to now go for this window vault, but I don't think they'll make it. No, with Bloodlust in play, that there will be the end of that chase. Though Singularity looking around, I think, for another survivor. We see the slipstream there onto the Jake, and Jake will end up going... No, they'll get to the pallet. Looks like Singularity actually going to be falling back and going to go for the pickup instead. Jake kind of following in tow, but dropping back towards main. I wonder if they have a flashlight in hand. Third gen popping off, 2 remaining before the tie condition is met. 1 remaining before the win condition. You see Adam here still injured, trying to avoid the Singularity's line of sight. They are not tagged with a slipstream, but they are in this corner without any tiles. They have 1 pallet here, but are going to get the stun. And EMP coming through. But interestingly enough, there is the EMP on the camera. Looks like Singularity going to drop chase. Now going to go back for the Ace instead. Ace going to be dropping some pallets here. We see a number of resources here, going to be able to be on the opposite side of this minecart to avoid getting hit by the slipstream. Looks like the Singularity might be going for someone else, though, and that there is the Jake here. Singularity gonna get the drop on the Jake off the hill, getting the hit on them. Lucky break now in effect, hiding their blood and their scratch marks. Even if the distance they got, though, unfortunately for the Jake, that there will be down at the window. But Singularity not going for the pickup immediately. Instead, going to take a look around. Let's see what the other survivors are doing in the meanwhile. Looks like we are getting a little bit of a heal party set up and leaving the Jake on the ground to fend for themselves. Singularity, though, pretty far away. Maybe trying to find out where this heal party is happening at and maybe wanting to help out. You know, as the Singularity says, they were not designed or programmed to harm the crew. However, looks like we are now looping our friends as the Ace is going to be taking chase with the Singularity. Jake still left on the ground, no survivors in sight. Singularity trying to tag the Ace here with the slipstream, trying to get them out of the match if possible. They will get tagged, but Singularity thinking about whether or not they're going to continue chase. No, setting up for the chase instead. Looks like Ace will get tagged, and a slipstream coming in, an overclock on the Singularity, and looks like we're going to try and go for the 50-50s here at this pallet. Singularity, though, I think going to be taking this hit here. No, instead going to slipstream, trying to block off the window, but the Ace actually waiting to vault until after the slipstream had finished. And Singularity gonna go for the fastball over the window. No brutal strength, and sounded like a head-on, but they were not able to hit it. Either that, or maybe there's an interaction I don't know about with Singularity in Overclock, where head-on does not affect them, which wouldn't make sense given the ability to basically have Spear Fury enduring through pallet stuns as well during Overclock. Singularity going to continue on the Ace here now. They really desperately want to get this survivor out of the match. However, they might be taking just a little bit too long, as these other 2 survivors are guaranteed to be on 2, if not 3 gens. There's the 4th gen. The win condition is here and now. The Singularity needs to get a 4K as we speak. If they get one more gen, it is a true tie condition for the entire match. So we'll have to see what these survivors are up to. We see 2 on 1 gen there. Not sure the progress. Singularity going to be bringing the ace here to this hook. Let's see what the progress looks like on this gen. Only about maybe 5-10% on that gen. Nothing much to speak of. We hear Singularity sending out their cameras, their biopods to try and get some information here. A pop goes the Weasel, going to be regressing that gen by 30% of its current progression. Not a lot of value from that, given that it is the current progression of the gen, but still. We see the Atom here. We see actually all 3 survivors here on the main side. Singularity a little bit too worried about Shaq's side coming over here instead. That's going to give these survivors a lot of time to set up and end up potentially complete his gen. And no, actually, find a survivor over on Shaq's side. Maybe I was mistaken when I went over to spectate. Either ways. Oh, I think we lost some game audio there with the Singularity moving between cameras. There we go. I think it's better now. About 50% on that gen. Singularity looking to get the slipstream. Will apply it to the Jake. It looks like it does tag the Atom as well. Singularity going to be going for the Jake. Maybe not noticing the Atom at the time. Swinging through the pallets. Jake not going to fall for it. Trying to do so again, but Jake with the distance and the life to boot to gain a little bit more. And to pre-drop in this pallet, I would imagine. Singularity, though, a little bit worried about the progress on this gen. Will go for the Atom. They will get the slipstream, but we saw the 3rd survivor on Shaq's side over 50% of the way through that generator. This is looking like 5 gens completed. The question is whether or not they will end up getting the 4K. If one survivor escapes via the X gate, regardless of hook stage, that will be a win here for Eternal in set 3 and the match overall. Though, surprisingly enough, there is the down on the Atom. We do see that 5th gen popping off. Now it comes down to not the win, but the tie condition. Can the Singularity slug this out for the 4K? We see them looking around for the Jake, just unable to find them. Lucky Break has since been deactivated. I do want to point out Singularity with the slipstream. Question is this last survivor on the exit gate? No. Looks like they are primed and ready for the pickup. That is 2 survivors on the ground. A second one now up, but Singularity knows where all 3 survivors are. If they get this down and follow it up with the next, that there is going to be the true tie across the entire match. They just need to find the Atom, and they do have a slipstream on them. And there he is. I think that there is going to be the true tie across the entire match. This is unprecedented, folks, to say the least. But now it comes down to, I was going to say bleed outs, but Jake and Atom are right there on the ground. Yeah. This is going to be really, really interesting. The match, for all intent and purpose, is over unless a bleed out does occur. However, Singularity out on the prowl. Looks like no bleed out here. And they know exactly where the Jake is as well. So, for context, this is a true tie, which on the back end is basically 4 points for each team. My co-commissioner and I have no clue what the bracket for final, for teams that qualify for finals look like. Absolutely no clue at this point with this 4K here. If it was a, just one person out, it was pretty clear what we were going to see here in finals coming up in the next couple of weeks. But now I'm not so sure. It is now anyone's game, and with that being said, I would have liked to be able to say that X team was able to qualify for playoffs, but now I have no clue. So we'll keep you posted on Twitter. So if you guys haven't already, go follow us there, and also join our Discord, so that way you learn more about what's going on in the grand scheme of things. But Singularity is going to decorate the X gate here, celebrating their tie of this match. And as we slowly but surely watch these survivors get sacrificed and are sent back to the campfire via the entity. And yeah, with that being said, that there will end the match today for Eternal versus Cynic. It was non-stop action, non-stop, honestly, just amazing gameplay by both teams, both survivors, both killers, and more. So thank you all for joining us today for this match and all of those prior.